The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
Early this week, the National Bank of Georgia, NBG, in a collaboration with Moody's and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, EBRD, organized a workshop titled Emerging Covered Bond Markets. This workshop was designed to offer the attendees insights into the dynamics of the covered bond market, credit rating approach, pricing of the instrument, and other relevant practical aspects for issuers and investors. The workshop was opened with a speech from Mr. Nicholas Gagua, Vice Governor of the National Bank of Georgia. In his address, he highlighted the importance of the inception of covered bonds on the Georgian market, underscoring the NBG's unwavering commitment to driving capital market reforms. The development of a covered bond framework marks a new stage for the broad capital market reform initiated by the government of Georgia and the National Bank of Georgia, NBG reports. Apart from adding diversity and depth of the capital market, the key objective of the new covered bond framework is also to increase the access for commercial banks to diversified sources of funding. We hope that the product will improve access to long-term Georgian lari funding, enable fixed-to-term mortgage pricing in the medium term, enhance the efficiency of the monetary policy framework, and serve as a risk management tool, said Mr. Gagua. Attendees had the opportunity to receive valuable covered bond market insights from representatives of Moody's, the European Mortgage Federation, European Covered Bond Council, and EBRD. These experts shared their extensive experiences from Eastern Europe and international markets.
I'm Luca Bertolot. It's a great pleasure for me to be here in Georgia this morning. I'm the Secretary General of the European Covered Bond Council, and we are very glad to see this opportunity coming up here in Georgia. It's a great pleasure for us to be here in Tbilisi, in Georgia, and celebrate the covered bond legislation that has been approved by the Georgian Parliament. I think this is a big opportunity for Georgian citizens, and is keeping Georgia closer to the single market of the European Union. This is a massive pillar for capital markets, and will help Georgian citizens to get cheaper funding for their mortgages, fixed rate, and manage the potential crisis due to the geopolitical crisis in a better way. We are a few weeks from a massive financial crisis in the US, and we think that covered bonds can help this market to have a solid access to capital markets, improving duration for the banks, and help banks in managing asset liability mismatch, and be ready to have access to international investors in this market.
Hi, my name's Richard Kemish. I'm a consultant with the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and it's a great pleasure to work on the covered bond law with all the counterparties here in Georgia. I think this law is something which is based on European precedent, has been phenomenally successful through the financial crisis and through recent years in providing stable funding for the banking system, and at the same time improving the access to mortgage funding for ordinary people being able to access the ability to buy their own homes. It's a financial instrument which, in this day and age, becomes more and more important with all of the threats to financial stability that we've seen recently, and I'm delighted that we now have, the banks in Georgia now have access to that to improve the basis for their funding.